Hello everyone, this is Hamad Almaghrabi. I am a PhD student at Latrobe University. It's a great chance today to share our work about IiCE, a proposed system based on IoT as a service to be to use study administrative efficiency in primary schools. So let's start with the first outline about our presentation today. We will start with the introduction, background, methodology, IiCE, which is the proposed framework. Finally, question and answers if you have any questions. Our work is about information and communication systems in primary schools. In this work, we looked at using the ICT systems in education from different angles. In other words, our focus is on using ICT in schools for administration purposes. ICT has been used for many different sectors, such as politics, communication, health, and so on. For example, ICT systems help the decision makers in businesses to provide more data and better understanding. From that, we can see it might be a beneficial point to use ICT systems in schools for management or for school administration. The first meeting between ICT systems or ICT technology and education was back to 50s, precisely in 1950s. The universities and few schools started to develop technology to be used in schools. Since that, students' curriculum and learning in classrooms have been improved continuously. In addition, there is a shortage in the literature about using ICT in schools for administration usage. That has been mentioned in different studies in the literature. On top of that, primary schools are the most extended period of study students do. And according to Cyril and you and others, this level in the education chain did not get enough study in the literature. However, there are some studies discussed using ICT for school management or for educational organization management, but not a primary schools or not a primary level, such as a study done by Procedure, Georgia, although it was about using ICT in education management but in kindergarten. It was only about infrastructure, and in addition, these studies did not provide a framework. For that, not schools or not all schools get the same outcome from using ICT. There must be some hidden factors did not studied yet. What factors influence using ICT in primary schools for administration purposes? Based on the literature, most mentioned factors that have impacted using ICT in primary schools for administration reasons could be categorized into 4 groups. And as you can see, infrastructure, IT support, communication, experience, and training. And there is some of the sub-factors under each one of the main factors. For example, the internet connection, the IT support, the availability of the IT support, in the communication, lack of proper communication among the schools, or lack of a proper communication with the decision maker, or with the families or parents who has kids in the primary school. Experience and training, it's about experience, knowledge, training courses, and workshops. So to do this work, to do our study, we starting with sampling and design to the population. In this study, we aim to include all the school administration members. This is one of the features that differentiate our study. Most of previous studies focused on one or two members of the administration staff and exclude others. As we know, in this age, all workers use technology or ICT in one way or another. That lead to other schools members being essential to explore and evaluate the current use of ICT in schools. Also, parents are one of the stakeholders that the literature has mentioned, and we have considered them in this study. However, their interaction with schools in terms of school administration is limited. Students are out of our scope due to their age. As you know, students in primary schools are under 18, and we are just exclude them. The next point is about instrument design. We include available ICT infrastructure, available IT support, available ICT communication channels, and any of the training programs available for ICT systems. We also addressed the effect of each factors that mentioned before. Moreover, we gather the knowledge and technical skills of the ICT users in schools. We create and designed a questionnaire, and we share the link about that questionnaire using social media applications such as WhatsApp, Twitter, Telegram, because these three are the most widely systems or platforms used in Saudi Arabia. From that, we get around more than 1,000 response in total. The optimal samples for this study was around 400, but the total completed responses was 555. As you can see from the results, the majority are holding a higher degree as bachelor degree. So as you can see here, the bachelor degree answers about 350, and they are around 59%, and the percentage of his working in primary schools is around 45 or 46, this is part of our result for this study. As you can see, in this chart, there are around 18 ICT systems. The most three ICT systems are used in Saudi public primary schools are Noor, Faris, and Madrasati. Noor is like an system for results, learning goals for the students and for the teacher as well. So the teacher can make plans for the learning goals for their students, and that will be available for the school principals, for the teachers, and for the parents as well. Faris is like human resource systems, which is about the workers. Madrasati is a new platform introduced in later on 2020 during the pandemic. Some other systems are not included in this chart. In addition, some other systems are not in this chart. Some of these ICT systems are not used by one users. For example, Microsoft Teams is only used by teachers, as you can see in the chart. Microsoft Teams is only used by the teacher, while the other members will not use it. Also, social media are used by most users in Saudi public primary schools. As we know, these applications are not authorized by either the Education Ministry or at least by the school principals. On the other hand, email and the official email are listed to be used in school for communication, whereas they are more secure than the other platform such as social media. So, what we can propose to solve all the previous four factors are IiCE systems or IiCE framework. As you can see, there is some factors inside the educational organization, and some factors are outside of the educational organization. And there's two kinds of groups: the school members, like teachers, principal, administrative assistants, and so on. The outsource or the outside the educational organization, parents. So parents are out of the educational organization. The factors are inside or within the educational organization: the information technology support, the experience and training, communication. The factors out of the educational organization is the infrastructure. And the ICT systems will give feedback to both of the users. So, as we mentioned today, to sum up, based on the literature, there is a lack of studying using ICT systems in primary schools for administration purposes. What we did in this work, we tried to provide a framework that can solve the problems with the most common factors that have influence using ICT systems in primary schools. Thank you so much, and if you have any questions, you are welcome.